Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my Lifter Michelle's vlog. And this is part 2 of the week, which means we finished the last 3 workouts. Everything was a PR. All right, that's all we need to know. All right, no, we're good. Okay, yeah, she pretty much PR'd on everything this week. She's trucking along pretty well. As a coach, I'm very, very happy with the progress. Now, keep in mind, a lot of this has been muscle memory. She lost some muscle while she was away. She comes back to Team Blaha, she's going to get jacked again. It's just how it goes, right? That's how we do it on Team Blaha. We get jacked, and we get strong as hell. All right, so what we do towards the last half of the week, we do a bit more rep work. So again, her first 3 workouts, we tend to do almost power building, but still bodybuilding for the first 2 days, which are an upper lower. Then we have a more moderate rep range, which is where we are here for an upper lower. And then we do all high rep with a lot of isolation and machines towards the end of the week. So again, we do a 3-day upper lower with progressively higher reps and lighter weight and more isolation as we go through the week. She does daily cardio as well with all of this. So to start the week off here, this is our more medium rep range. So it's kind of a heavy, medium, light rotation. This is our more medium rep range lower day, which is where we start the part 2 at. So again, we started with a hack squat, and then we go to a barbell Romanian deadlift. Now this is also a new block, so a lot of these lifts are new in the rotation. So I do most of her lifts in 3-week rotations. The ones that we keep constant are her power lifts. Her big 3, the squat, bench, and deadlift. We're just doing very, very slow progressive overload on those in a moderately heavy rep range. So again, regaining strength on those and using them for hypertrophy and general strength, and everything else is just to get bigger. And to refine certain muscle groups. So what we have here, again, we have a hack squat, we have an RDL, and she does barbell calf raises. I like to do those also, and most people know my calves are ginormous. That's actually the only thing I do for my calves personally. But in her case, her calves, we need them a lot bigger. We need them bigger, so we have her doing both a standing and a seated calf raise all 3 lower days. But right now we're just doing the standing barbell. And I've had people bring that up, why not stand on the plate? Because quite frankly, when it starts getting heavy, right? It starts getting heavy. It's very easy to trip over that plate. And to be fair, I think particularly if you're going to do other stuff like sled work or you're going to have a seated calf raise machine, I'm not overly concerned with getting that lengthened position or getting a deep stretch reflex. Again, we can argue about that mechanically. But when you think about the way the calves function, even in day-to-day life, you don't ever really start with that deep position with the heel below the toe. We just don't. It's not used in running, not used in jumping in a standing position. Not really necessary. And it's not necessary to do that to put 2 inches under your calves. So again, as long as we are progressively overloading it, even if we're starting from a just above lengthened position, perfectly fine. And because we get that on the seated anyways. And I'm not one of those people who think that we need deep lengthened positions on every single exercise. I think as long as we have at least one for every muscle group, you're generally good to go. It's fine to have stuff that focuses a little more on the mid-range. I think it's fine to have exercises that focus on the shortened position. Again, as long as you have it all varied, you get proper stimulus there, every head of the muscle gets worked, and we have progressive overload present. Again, progressive overload being the primary driver of adaptation. The human race has known this for 2,500 years. Note the story of Milo of Croton. All right, so we finished up with, again, split squats, leg curls, seated calf raises. All right, then we go to her lightest upper body day. We're starting this off with incline dumbbell presses. Again, we've already done barbell incline earlier in the week. We've done barbell flat and barbell decline. I do like to have, for people who are in pursuit of aesthetics, I do like to have a slight bias towards incline work. I think most people who follow my work realize that. So in her case, I do want to have both a barbell and a dumbbell. All right. Also because chest has been a weak link for her a little bit, both when we were powerlifting and in her last training rotation she was doing. We really need the additional chest work. I want to make sure that her chest is developed top to bottom before she gets on a stage. I want to make sure that we have that deep line down the middle. So I want to see separation through her chest all the way down, top to bottom. So again, we need to hit all these angles. We want flat work, decline work, incline work. We use barbells, we use dumbbells, and we use cables. Again, the perk of the cable to finish off here, we not only get the lengthened position, we also have the ability to maintain some tension in the shortened position, which we don't get quite to the same degree with presses. Now, is that absolutely necessary to get a big chest? Absolutely not. When we are talking about a physique competitor who wants a pro card, who does need more pectoral, I think it's warranted. So same thing here. Her second back exercise here, we do a lat pull down first. Again, I've got her doing an incline dumbbell row, and I had to demonstrate for her how I want this done. All right, so what's the point here? Like, she does all those pull-ups, she does barbell rows. Why does she need this? Same thing. I want to refine that area in her upper back so that when she gets on a stage later, I want to see separation between her trapezius and her rhomboids and posterior deltoids. I want to develop that separation that gives us that stretched position. If you watch the way that movement works, notice that it allows the shoulder blades to roll forward from that 45-degree angle, and then think about what that does for things like the middle trap, upper trap, the rhomboid. I mean, obviously it works lats and posterior delts, but again, trying to finish those fine details. A lot of what we do on the last 2 days of the week is really about creating those refined details, those heads of muscles that are not getting 100% stimulus that I want, that we're going to need to pop later in a competitive environment. This is where we work on those. Okay, so this is kind of what we do with this part of the week in her training. Again, is this something that I would have the average client do? Someone who just says, look, coach, I want to bench 315, deadlift 500, and I want some decent abs. We wouldn't do all that. So context, very context specific. She wants a pro card, wants to be on stage. We have to pay attention to these details. Same thing here. Long head of her tricep is not up to par. We've done a lot of powerlifting. Again, something I personally relate to. Long head of my tricep lags, because we did lots of powerlifting. How do we resolve it? This is where lengthened position exercises do come in handy. So in this case, I want this movement here to make sure that we get a myotatic reflex on the long head of the tricep, and note the angle involved, note what's going on with her shoulder position and where we have the tension at. This creates a deep stretch in the long head of the tricep. Turns it into the primary mover. We need that head to pop more. She has crazy strong lateral triceps due to all the JM presses and everything we did close grip benching in the past. We don't have that pop that we want to the tricep. We have to work that long head. And then, of course, we finish up with rear delt flies. And we just use a machine for this. I personally like dumbbells when I do them. I like these on an incline bench for me personally. In her case, we have access to the machine, so we use it. But we may work the dumbbells in or plates on a bench later in place of it too, because again, we rotate a lot of these lifts every 3 weeks, which brings up the question, why do we do that? Her training volumes are the highest of any client that I have. None of my lifters have the training volume she does. They don't have the work capacity, they don't have the lifestyle. We also are refining her physique. Now, because our biggest concern with high volume is overuse injuries, by rotating the exercise, particularly rotating the exercises that we do the most volume with, all right, we reduce risk of overuse injuries of that exact identical movement pattern. So that's the reason we change it up so much. It's not about, hey, let's shock the muscle. Nothing to do with that. Now, does she benefit from it psychologically to make sure that she stays fresh and doesn't get bored? These long-ass workouts. Yes. And that's an absolute factor. That is a factor. Her mindset is absolutely accounted for in that. And it has to be, as a coach, you have to learn the mindset of your lifters, and you have to work with it if you want them to be champions. It's not optional. I mean, even Louis Simmons realized this at Westside. He had 2 basic psychological approaches depending upon personality type. He spoke about it in vast detail, by the way, at seminars. So what are we doing here? Pendulum squats, hip thrust machine, leg curls, single leg presses, more barbell calf raises. She has 315 on there now. I think the calves are starting to grow a little bit. But we're going to keep chipping away at them. And it's like I told her, look, calves are stubborn muscles. We chip away at them, workout after workout. We force them to grow through additional mechanical tension until we have pro quality calves. And it's going to take some time. And there we are, finishing it up. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.